All right, I'm on hole number 3 of the Origin Links 9-hole cup. I'm in Friday's qualifying round in the rookie division, and I am not getting it done. You got to hit perfect shots. That's the deal. Don't hit perfect. Don't go in the hole. Hole number 3 is going to be at Portillo Cove. It's hole number 3. I don't even remember hole number 3. All right, here we go. All right, let's see. What did I use earlier yesterday? I used a rock. So here's the thing on this hole. And I'm not going to be playing this upper shot. I'm not, I don't really like that shot. If you get this in one-on-one, it's important to know how to do this shot because depending on how the wind's blowing, you may not be able to get this done. So it is important to know to take the shot to understand it. One of my teammates hit a max overpower hook shot here and hit one of the rocks and got 508 yards and ended up clipping the rough down here and ended up very short for an Albie. So it's possible to get down there. He hit that rock and went for a wild ride. He's going to try it again to see if it was a replicatable thing or if it was just total luck. I'm going to take this lower shot. And the deal here is that you don't, if you bring a 3 power ball, if you come out here and you don't bring a 3 power ball, if you bring a Quasar, you can get over here with a Quasar. This first shot's not hard to do if you've got, if you bring out a lower level ball. But the second shot, you're hitting this with a wood, and if you bring a big wood like a big dog, a lower ball is not going to hurt you. But if you really want a serious shot at it, you want to bring, like if you've got lower developed stuff, you could bring a hammerhead. You could bring your Viper. If you've got a hammerhead will work because it's got a little bit more, it'll give you a little more flexibility on the other side as far as top spin. And depending on what level it is, it's more accurate. Where I want to come in is I want to be far enough, I want to be like this rough area out here. I want to be so that I can start where this little finger of the sand is at. I can start a little bit to the right of it, and that gives me a straight in shot to the cup. So if we draw that line, I want to be like somewhere out in this range right here. So I'm not trying to get all the way to the tip of this. Halfway, a little over a third, between a third and a half, just getting out into this area. So where the transition comes on this, where it starts to do the bend, this point right here is where I want to try and set my shot up. And I want to use a 100% accurate club so that I can leave myself a couple rings off. So when you look at your clubs, like you can go, well, hey, the Apocalypse got a lot more curl and you can bring it around the bend more. And so you can get more distance out here. And that's not a bad deal either, because you can, like, if you can get way out here to the tip. The problem with it is that we're trying to, we're coming from the tee box. You look at where the tee box is at, right here, and we're trying to get out into this area right here. So we draw that line. We're going like this, and we're trying to cover this angle. And so the farther off you move, I always like to be 2 rings off of any transitional surface. So if you bring a club, you bring a club and it hits 1.6 per ring, like an Apocalypse, 1.6 per ring. So here's your center. It's 1.6. It's 3.2. So if you left yourself 2 rings of separation, you're way off of that. Now it does have more curl than a QB. So you could work yourself around and still end up out here in the middle. But the farther you work off that point, I was talking to Hammer and Hank about this morning when we were going through club options, because you could use a big topper here. Your big topper may have more curl than your QB depending on its level, but it's bigger rings. So especially if you've got lower developed stuff, it may be like 2.4 or 2.5. So you're way off of that transitional surface, or you have to rub right up against it. So if you hit a great to the right or perfect, you're fine. But if you hit anything at all to the left, you're stuck right here and you can't get up from there. If you get out here and you overshoot and you end up in the rough down here, you could recover. So I always like to bring a 100% accurate club when I have these types of shots. And a QB is something that everybody has and that you can use, but you could also use an Apocalypse because it's got a lot of curl. You could use a big topper because it's got a lot of curl. We're trying to bring it around the bend. I'm going to use a rock, and I'm only going to put on about 3 top spin, maybe a little bit more. I'm trying to stop myself so that I don't bleed off into that rough area. We'll see how it goes. And this is best. You can do this with a Kingmaker. Or excuse me, you can do this with a Titan, the king of balls. But a Kingmaker works a little bit better because you have the side spin and you're not using all of the top spin. I'm going to bring my accurate bag. I'm going to use a rock instead of a QB. You have a really good Albie shot here. Very good. Jordan from the Cree Gang. Let's see if I go first. I do go first. That's what I'm talking about. So you can get way down in here, but the farther you get, you can actually work yourself so you're so far forward that your curl, you're not leaving enough room for your curl to work. You actually, and I want to make sure, I got to make sure I got enough topspin on there to get me to the other side, and I can't see my topspin because it's in the sand. 2.1, do about 2.3. Let's see if that was enough. Hitting it perfect. The topspin there, you can't see how much topspin you have on there, so you can't see where it's going to go on the other side. You have plenty, but you can't see it. And so with that rock, I could actually put on probably another topspin, probably go 4 topspin, and still be able to put on max left-hand side spin. But I'm not trying to dig all the way down into that hole. If you've got a QB, that's a good area to start right there. You'll have a little less curl, and the 3 topspin is going to be about the max that you can put on. You'll have to work that out for your club depending on what level you have. The thing about this shot up here is you can catch some of those areas where you slide like my opponent did, and then bam, you're behind the rock. And they weren't anticipating the slide, and that rock is in play, so they may or may not be able to get forward moving distance. I almost got to the perfect spot for me. There's max. There's minimum club. So I'm in pretty close to min at 1.5 per ring. Like 2.7 rings. See if we can get this in the hole. Let's see if I can at least hit a perfect today. At least one. And I hit it great to the right. I hit the other one's great to the left. Great to the right. Da, 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 da. That was great to the right. So what that was right there was that was minimum club, and I added on 10% to the win. And a perfect shot. That would have been right there. That's 3 shots in a row if I'd hit it perfect. Man, I would have loved to have seen all 3 of those perfect. That could potentially be 3 shots right there. So that is min club. 1.5. Sniper. Plus 10% to the cup. The opponent is definitely in a spot of bother. I found that shot to the top, I didn't like the consistency of it. This is you need to get eagles on these par 5s, and we have one par 5 in this tournament that's tough enough. Hole number, what is that? Which one is the par 5 that we're having problems with? Not necessarily problems, but hole number 6. That hole's tough enough. We can't be taken. We've got to get eagles on these other par 5s, and we want to really give ourselves a shot at Albie. And I just find that upper path is not consistent. And the deal there is the other thing I don't like about the upper path is the first shot's way uphill and the second shot's way downhill. And the shot to the right, you're pretty, your elevation's pretty, it's not that bad. Plus 10 on the drive, plus 10 on the shot to the cup, so it's just a little bit of a drop. All right, that was hole number 3 of the Origin Links 9-hole cup and Friday's qualifying round in the rookie division. Thanks for watching.